Uh, yeah, I mean, summer ain't over, but our guys have done a great job to this point. That's for sure. They've I haven't really had any issues. I mean, they've done a great job, but they've been that way since we started back in spring. Very focused group, very, very, dialed in, and great leadership, and it's just shown all the way through. So hopefully they can stay dialed in here these last couple weeks. I think next Monday is going to be our last day in the weight room, and then they'll get a few days off to kind of, get their bodies recuperated. We've been grinding them pretty good in the weight room, so just to kind of get everybody fresh and ready to go and start camp.
Question to go right ahead. Yeah, but you guys have always recruited really well, but has it changed at all with the year that you brought up last year when we started being able to recruit more nationally?
Yeah, I think the biggest change is just more people want to come see Clemson. I mean, I think it's just an easier conversation. People we've always reached out to, the national guys, but my big thing is if a guy's not gonna, if it's too inconvenient for a guy to come and visit us unofficially or come to camp, then probably not gonna get him for 4 years. And we've just had a lot more guys that want to come see us, unofficially come to camp, whatever it may be. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is just, the exposure of our brand. We've benefited greatly from, the last 5 years, to be honest with you. So I think that's the biggest change. And then the old saying that we always say, if we can get them here, we got a chance. And that holds true whether it's a kid from 50 miles or a kid from 500 miles. It's the same.
Dabo, you think there's a different pressure that attaches itself this season because you guys aren't grinding to get to the top. You've been right near the top and are expected to get back there again this year. Does that present a different set of challenges for you coaches?
Not really. I think, for the past several years, I think we've been good enough. And I think we're good enough this year. But every year is a grind to get there. I mean, there's no free passes. You don't just, skip here and end up over here. I mean, you gotta go through the steps. And every year is different. And we've had a nice run of consistency, and that's really what I want to see from this team is just again to be consistent performers, to be about the right things, to prepare the right way, to be committed each and every week, to put everything we got into that game. The one-game season mentality, that's what we talk about all the time. And if we continue to do that, then I think we can be in the hunt. And, again, there's a lot of things that can ultimately determine whether you're in the national championship. I don't think some people may say, oh, well, that may be the goal, but that's really not the goal. The goal is to be the best that we can be. And that's all we're going to focus on. And that starts with everybody giving that type of effort and commitment, day in and day out as we grind through the season. But you got to start over. I mean, we're not on the middle of the hill. I mean, we got to start back, and we got to go prove it. We got to go earn it, day in and day out, week in and week out. And hopefully when the dust settles into the season, we got a shot to make another run at it. But the season is so important, and it's not something that you can just skip through.
You always say 5 plays a game. Some games that the players may not listen to it because you win by 30 or 40.
Yep.
Can you turn on that national championship game and show them what 5 plays means?
Yeah, I already have. I did that, and that's how we started spring. I took 5 plays that, really had nothing to do with the opponent. And it was just kind of a message as we started the spring that it's all about Clemson. It's about what we control. It's not about anything else. And let's take care of us. Let's don't, and just so you know, the onside kick wasn't in that clip, and the kickoff return wasn't in that clip. Neither one. They made 2 great plays. Sometimes the opponent makes plays. They made a great play down the sideline. Ball falls out of the sky, and that's ball. Guys make plays. Other teams are good players, and but it's the things that we do control. And that was kind of the message in that video. You know, and I started with our best player because he had 2 plays in that game that were critical mistakes and critical errors. And it was an easy way to kind of, you know, transfer into the spring practice and make sure everybody had their mind right as we got back to the basics, because, you know, it was the little things that cost us in that game. And we made a couple of mistakes. And when you're in a game like that and you're playing an opponent like that, it is a few plays. Yes, there's some games where we maybe have a bigger margin for error, but when you're playing championship level, championship caliber football, and it's really good on good, kind of even, it's a few plays. And of the 5 that I presented, if you change 2 of them, the outcome's probably different. But you can't change it. And so, you know, it's ball handling, it's fundamentals, it's just executing the call. It's you know, cover 3. It's cover 2 and supporting from the outside and not running inside a receiver. It's just little things. It's not big things at all. But it was a good way as we started over in the spring to kind of, you know, refocus them. But to be honest with you, this bunch, they've been really easy. They've had a sense of urgency from day one and an eagerness to get back at it.
What is your biggest concern going into the season?
Biggest concern? You know, I don't really have a huge concern. I think we got some answers we got to go get. You know, as far as how's it going to shape up for us at defensive end. You know, who's going to start there? What's the depth and the rotation going to be? I'm excited about our backups at tight end. You know, how's that going to shake out? I think we got a really good group there. We're in a totally different situation than we were this time last year. Same thing at running back. Totally different situation than we were this time last year. You know, I'm excited about the talent and depth that we have at receiver and kind of, you know, watching that play itself out. Obviously, the secondary, you know, getting the right piece, getting the right guys in the right spot, because I think we got a lot of versatility, especially with the guys, the additions this summer. We got a lot of options, so just figuring that out. But I'm not really concerned about that. I'm excited about it. You know, I'm excited about getting to work and kind of, you know, figuring all that out and seeing who's going to emerge in all of those areas. But I'm more excited than I am anything. Not really concerned, to be honest with you.
Last year, this time, we were talking about some of the off-field issues and how that would affect you in several positions going into the season. Based on what I know, I think we all know that's not been an issue this year. It's got to be gratifying to the one. How does that ease your mind as you put together a depth chart and think, I know I'm going to have all these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it's the way it should be, and this means you got some guys that have done a good job. They've been focused, and you know, last year, you know, we had you know, Battle leaves, Lacob got in trouble. I guess that was it. I think that was the main 2 guys, you know, this time last year that were going into this, and that doesn't mean the team wasn't focused. We just had a couple guys, and you know, it creates a distraction, because I have to deal with that type of stuff from the media. But our team was dialed in, and it showed all year. The message last year was, what are we going to do at left tackle? I'm saying we're going to go with Mitch Hyatt. And, you know, he started 15 games and did just fine. So that's kind of where we are this year, except we don't have any of those things to talk about because it has been a good summer, you know, because when you have 100% of your guys, you know, do what they're supposed to do and not have to deal with that, then that's a real positive. And it's unfortunate because last year, you know, you got 99% of the guys do what they're supposed to do, and a couple of guys create a distraction, you know, but it didn't create a distraction for our team. But it is nice from my standpoint to not have to deal with all the drama that comes with that type of situation, and hopefully, again, we'll be able to finish up these next couple weeks and not have any issues. they've done a nice job.
I mean, we're getting ready for a season where if things go the way you want, your quarterback could be like the face of college football, the main attraction in college football. Have you guys just talked to him about it, or is he as prepared for that? He seems as prepared for that as anybody I've ever seen, for 21 years old.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations. We started having those conversations when he was a freshman. So he's. I don't really have to say a whole lot to D-Dub. He's dialed in. He's just a guy that's hungry to be the best. He's hungry to get better. He's not satisfied. He does a great. He's very critical of himself as far as what he can do to improve. He's a grinder. I mean, he likes to work at it, and then he gets it. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's taking 17 hours this summer. A lot of guys are like, well, I'm going to take 1 and 1 so I can kind of have some, and he's taking 17 hours. I think he's only got 5 hours this fall. So he's 5 hours short of graduating in 2.5 years. So you have to be incredibly driven and focused to be able to do something like that, especially with his demands and the platform that he's got and the stuff that comes with being the quarterback at Clemson. So I'm really proud of him. He's a great leader, so unselfish, very humble, and he's not worried about. I don't worry about him worrying about being an All-American or winning the Heisman. He just doesn't think like that. I mean, that'd be nice, but he wants to win. That's what he wants to do. Nobody wants to win more than Deshaun Watson, and he'll do everything he can to win each and every week. He's going to prepare. You can just count on that. My big thing for him is hopefully the good Lord keeps him healthy and he can have another great year. He's going to graduate in December and have opportunity to move on to the next level. And I'm excited for him. But all that'll come in due time. It's about, the finishing the journey a strong way and finishing with no regrets. And I think that's what he's dialed in on doing. Oh yeah. He's about. I think he was 218, 217, 218 the other day. He looks great, and that's just the same thing. I mean, it's in every area. He's just a guy that he showed up here about 180 pounds and maybe 181 or 2 or something like that, and now he's 218 pounds. He just puts the work in. That is a reflection of a guy that's committed. And you look at what he does academically, you look at what he does off the field as far as how he handles his business. You never hear anything about Deshaun Watson. He just, because he's so busy, every time I call him, he's in Vickery. Where you at? I'm in Vickery, writing the paper. He's just, I'm like, hey, you need to go take a break. But he's just dialed in on what he wants out of life and what he wants out of this season, and it's fun to see a guy develop. Everybody say, guys, he's a really good player. What can he do? Well, he's got a lot he can do. He can get better physically and mentally, just which is what he's done. Get stronger, which is what he's done. Continue to build his body, and when you guys see him, you'll recognize that. I mean, he noticeably is probably about 10 pounds. I think he was about 208 when he finished the season last year. And he's a good 10 pounds thicker, stronger.
We talked about it a lot during the spring with Christian. Do you have it in your mind he's going to play end, he's going to play tackle, or Cleveland Farrell and Richard Uring going to decide that?
I think that gets decided by how it all shakes out at the position. I mean, we're going to play the best guys, and if he's better than those two, or the third guy, or the third D tackle needs to be in there. I mean, we've got some flexibility there, but I think we're going to be just fine at the end. I mean, I really think Christian will be inside, but he's another guy that has just worked his tail off. Looks amazing. He's really changed his body, and he was pretty good last year, but he's really taken it to a whole nother level from a nutrition standpoint. Now that he's had a full year in the program. He understands the edge that is. His body is a great asset for him. So he's put himself in position where, he can play either. I think he is fine with that. but I think that's to be determined. You know, there's really no way to answer that right now until we get out on the field and see how it all shakes out with the other guys. But I can tell you this, if we line up with Big Clee and Yergin and Austin, you know, I think we'll be just fine.
Is it exciting the possibility that Christian plays at end, you could get E and Carlos Watkins and Dexter Lawrence all on the field at the same time?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, Dexter hadn't played a snap yet, but I mean he's going to be in the mix. I mean he proved that this spring. So again, I think the biggest thing is we just have more options and, you know, more depth that's competitive all across the board. You know, we had that at D tackle last year. We did not have that at end. We had some talent, you know, but we were two veteran salty players and then just freshmen that were green, that had to ripen up through the season. And I think they all got better as the season went, and this year's a different situation. Just more guys that are kind of in the same spot, that I think the competition there is going to make us better. Will make us deeper. We can play more people. We got lucky last year because we weren't able to. We like to play a lot of people on defense, and we were not able to rotate like we were used to. I thought that, you know, we had to make some adjustments in practice. We had to do a lot of things, and we just caught a break, you know.